Hey Houston, Texas, it's Dinko, the realtor. Today we're going to go through a lot of information really quickly, so buckle up. Let me share with you what's going on in the Houston market. According to the Houston Association of Realtors, right down here towards the bottom, the single family median sales price is negative year over year. That means somebody that bought their house a year ago is officially negative year over year. And remember, the market didn't peak until June of 2022. And people that bought around the peak are down double digits. That means that they've wiped out a third of their pandemic gains, just gone. That is a big time loss. And you can watch the other videos. I'll link it down below that goes over that in a little bit more detail. Now, make sure you smash that like button. It'll really help the YouTube channel grow. You're not going to get this kind of information anywhere else. Let me show you something else here real quick, and then we'll go over some other data. Let me pull that up here. So if we take a look here, these are houses that sold. So if we take a look at the beginning of 2022, we see how much quicker houses were selling. And then over here, we see how much longer it's taking to get a house sold. Right now, it is showing that it took 35 days in January and 34 days in February versus 14 days and 13 days. And we see that the low right here was in May of 7 days. Now, the big kicker though is those are sold. That's the sold data. And the sold data is always going to look better because those are actually houses that people want that sell. If we look at the data that didn't sell, check this out right here. Look at this right here. I mean, we had it as low as 8 days in June and May, and then it skyrocketed here towards the second half of 2022. And we see that in February, the average or the median home is on the market for 51 days. That means that the active inventory that's not selling has been on the market for longer than the sold inventory. And I'm going to show you why this potentially can get much, much worse. Before we do that, I'm Dinko, the realtor. If this is your first time to the YouTube channel, I've been in the real estate game since 2016. I specialize in helping people just like you along the entire greater Houston area. My team and I are always here for you. We're getting a lot of people reaching out to us and we absolutely love it. So don't hesitate to reach out. The contact information is down below. Now, let's go through this data that's going to impact the housing market, potentially significant impacts. Right here, the second biggest bank failure collapse in U.S. history happened in 48 hours. This is according to CNBC. This happened last week. The second largest bank failure in U.S. history. The biggest thing about that, though, they are the number one funder for tech startup companies. Check out this article, right? And before we do that, smash that subscribe button if you haven't, because this kind of data, information, and analysis, you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. And again, do me that favor, smash that like button. It'll really help the YouTube channel grow. So if we flip this over and we take a look right here, this is the Washington Post, the only publicly traded bank focused on Silicon Valley and new tech ventures. SVB was deeply embedded in the U.S. startup scene. According to its website, it did business with nearly half of all U.S. venture capital-backed startups and 44% of U.S. venture-backed tech and healthcare companies. That is a huge, huge issue. Tech is one of the biggest reasons why home prices exploded nationwide. People were getting remote jobs and moving from expensive cities to lower cost cities all around the United States of America. This is in fact going to have big implications. And the thing is, it doesn't stop right there. If we go over to the next article right here, we see Jerome Powell says interest rates are likely to be higher than previously anticipated. He stated that before the collapse of the second largest bank, SVB, collapsed last week. Well, the thing is the Fed right now is stuck between a rock and a hard place because the inflation isn't under control, yet we are seeing multiple bank failures. There was a bank failure with Signature Bank. Then we had Republic Bank that was about to collapse as well. And the big time banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, they got together and they gave them funding so that they are not the next bank that collapses. What does the Fed do right now? And we're going to find out March 21st and March 22nd what's going to happen. Is the Fed going to increase the Fed rate? They probably have to, right, if they're going to fight inflation. But if they increase that, they risk more banks defaulting. There's really no good in either way. If they pivot or if they stop that inflation fight, well, we know they're going to have to resume that because people are then going to start spending, saying, oh, hey, the Fed is going to pivot if they don't increase the Fed rate. But if they increase the Fed rate, that potentially could cause other banks. I mean, it is a nightmare situation out there. There is a lot going on in the housing market. I've been saying, make sure to wait for March data and information to come out. I've been stating this for months and months and months. And I said, let that spring inventory start hitting the market. And it's just now beginning to hit the market. Once that spring inventory floods the market here in March and April, plus all this data that we're analyzing comes to fruition, we are going to be able to analyze the market much better. And you're going to be able to make a much better financial decision. Again, hit that subscribe button down below because this kind of data information analysis you're not going to find anywhere else. Do me a favor, smash that like button. It'll really help the YouTube channel grow. And remember, Dinko the Realtor and his team have your back in the greater Houston area. We have people just like you reaching out to us all the time, and we absolutely love it. The contact information is down below in the description. Reach out to me and let's take advantage of the Houston housing market together in 2023.